Hello everyone, my name is Joey. I am the lead pastor of the Movement Church in Nashville, Tennessee. And today, this Sunday, in between Christmas and New Year's, I hope you are resting and enjoying this time to be at home with your family and friends. As a church community, we take this Sunday off for that very thing, for rest. As we come to the end of a year where most of us have been living extremely busy and are preparing ourselves to start a new year, we value rest as a community. So we hope that you're resting. Next week, we'll be on at the same time, 10 a.m. at Plaza Mariachi in Nashville, Tennessee. I just want to take a brief moment and share with you what God has been placing in my heart for several months now. It's been this accumulation of what He's been revealing. And I hope to see you next week because I'm encouraged to give some vision for 2020 as a community. And we're excited for where God is taking us. But for today, I just wanted to start by saying, as an encouragement, let us understand that the purpose of this past year and the purpose of God through this past year is that we understand that it's a season. And with every season, there comes an end. And God is faithful to the end. So as we move forward, would we be challenged to let go of what we need to let go in this year in order to embrace fully what God desires for 2020? And for some of us, letting go may be difficult. It may be challenging. It may be scary. The thing with me throughout my life is that I saw many moments where letting go was so important. And for me, I held on to things often because I wanted to fix some things. I wanted to work through some things. I wanted to heal from some things and overcome from some things. And what I've learned is that the work, the fixing, the correcting, the healing, the overcoming, often, almost always came by way of letting go. Letting go of control, letting go of things that I just had to be free from. And so as we just begin this small discussion, I just want to encourage us to posture our hearts and our mind on that one thing, is that we are called to let go in 2019 what is supposed to be left in 2019 in order for us to move forward into 2020 the way that God has called us to. And so in the beginning of the New Testament, there is a story about a man. His name is Peter. This man would go on to become one of Jesus' closest friends as he walked this earth, and also one of his greatest followers. Our introduction to Peter in the book of Luke, Jesus encounters Peter in Peter's context. Peter was a fisherman. Jesus, on the shore off of this body of water that Peter was working on through the night, encounters Peter, and Peter had just spent all night working and didn't catch a fish. And Jesus encounters him and he tells him, hey, why don't you go back out and throw your net out? And Peter looks at him and says, man, I worked all night and didn't catch anything. But because you say so, okay, I'll do it. And he goes out and he casts his net, and Jesus performs a miracle right in front of Peter. And in this miracle, Peter's net was filled so much that he shared it with his co-workers, his friends that were there. And at that moment, Peter drops to his knees in front of Jesus and he disqualifies himself. He says, "Teacher, go from me. I'm a sinner. I'm a sinful man." And it's interesting because as Jesus' response to Peter was priceless to me. When we would think that someone like Peter, a simple, dirty fisherman, would be pushed away from Jesus, Jesus actually says to him, hey, don't be afraid. From now on, you will fish for people. Jesus affirms and activates Peter. And I pray that we recognize, all of us, we recognize that no matter what your context is, no matter what you do or have done, God desires to encounter and embrace you. And in doing so, He is affirming who He says you are. And if you're a teacher, He can use you. If you're a lawyer or a doctor, He can use you. If you're a barista, He can use you. An accountant, He can use you. If you're a stay-at-home mom, He can use you. No matter what you do, God can use you. But Jesus gave Peter one command. He said, don't be afraid. And see, as our year comes to an end, I believe God is saying one clear thing to us all. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of what you went through last year or what you have to let go of. Don't be afraid of losing what you gained or what blessings you received. Don't be afraid of the unknown for what's to come. Don't be afraid. The thing about Peter is that after a few years of Peter walking with Jesus, Peter lived with him, and they walked together and they talked together. And after just a few years, in the face of adversity, persecution, as Jesus is arrested, his greatest weakness in the very thing that would trip him up would be fear. And it's interesting because Jesus is being taken away and he's being beaten and he's about to be hung on a cross, and Peter responds in fear. And that response would cause him to deny and to reject Jesus 3 times. And Peter, after that rejection and through that fear, that he rejects the very purpose that Jesus gave him and returns to who he used to be. After Jesus dies, Peter returns to being a fisherman. Imagine that. After walking with Jesus, Peter goes back to the life that he lived before his life-changing encounter with Jesus because of fear. But Jesus, because when he rises from the grave, he shows up again on a shore, much like the first time, where Peter is once again fishing. In the same fashion, Jesus performs a miracle as he did in their first encounter. And Jesus blows Peter away again. And in that moment, it's like Peter remembered his first life-changing experience and encounter with Jesus. He would recognize that it was Jesus on the shore, and he would jump out of the boat he was in. And the very place that he would hide in fear, this boat, this posture as a fisherman, the place where he would hide in fear and comfort and familiarity, he would jump out of the boat and he would run, leaving all of that behind because he recognized that it was Jesus. When he reaches Jesus, once again, he is forgiven for the things that he's done, and he's embraced and activated again by Jesus. Jesus reminds him 3 times where his focus needs to be. His love for Jesus. Out of this love, Jesus reminds him of his true purpose. Feed my sheep, he tells him. Out of love, take care of other people. Peter, don't be afraid any longer. Don't go back to what was easy and comfortable and familiar. Don't allow fear to help you hold on to what I've asked you to leave behind. Peter goes on to become a key figure and the leader of the first church, a community of people who lived out the purpose that Jesus had given to love and to take care of others. And as we end this year, could we be a community that would run from the very things that would cause us to choose comfort and familiarity and even safety in order to be closer to Jesus? Would we not respond in fear and allow God to affirm and activate the purpose of what he wants to do in 2020? Remember, Jesus offers us a love that silences fear and activates his promise. But we have to let go of what we need to let go in this year in order for him to do what he fully wants to do in 2020. So my prayer today for us is that you would understand you have been given a love that would empower you to let go. Let go. Don't hold on to what you don't need to carry into this new year. And just trust and know that in letting go, God will do more than what you can imagine in this upcoming year. 2020, it's a big year. So we love you guys so much. We pray that you have an amazing new year. We can't wait to see you and share further the vision that God has given our community for 2020. God bless you guys. We love you. We'll see you soon.